Everybody over
Yep.
there ready?
Okay,
All the people are here.
it's 6:31. I will call the meeting to order. First point on the agenda is electing a chairperson. I have any nominations for the budget hearing.
Can it be you?
Well, that would be a possible.
Okay, then I'm gonna make a nomination that Mark Brody is chairman.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Just like hearing his name.
Okay, next thing is reading of the minutes. I would entertain a motion on that.
Gonna entertain a motion to waive the reading.
To dispense. with
Waive
the
reading of the minutes.
I make a motion, we dispense with the reading. I second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Next thing is this budget explanation by Dr. Strick.
Yeah, it's not Chris, right? I really-
Director of Finance, Leah Schaefer.
Make a motion, we dispense with budget. Second. So tell them, I'm gonna make that motion.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody.
Trying to make a motion to dispense with the budget proposal. The president is taking it.
I just put it over here.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Let's
Can't wait.
get going.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yep.
Go executive session. Do that.
Yeah.
Get that out of the way.
Good.
Oh, it's not working.
Did you change the?
Oh, no.
We'll live with that, please.
Everyone can't see it.
No, she's.
She's not gonna be here because her son's not here.
She's out, she's away. Oh, that's right.
What about her student representative?
We'll be here at 7.
He'll be here at 7, yeah. Should do it.
Well, seeing as there's no one here that, in the audience, I think if we just look at our computers.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
All right, let's go through it. So our proposed budget for this year is 25,405,843, up from last year for about $121,000. Though it's a little misleading because of the debt service piece, it's up a little bit more than that, but overall it's up that. And increase over 23-24 is 0.48%. Our budget impacts, contractual obligations, obviously every year we have contractual obligations we have to meet, special education costs, that again, we have no control over. Miscellaneous costs like supplies, health insurance, and BOCES, and additional course offerings, which really doesn't cost us too much with the additional courses, once minor impact. We always create a budget with these things in mind, maintain and enhance programs for students, which we did, ensure the district is fiscally solid for the future, which we have, not to exceed the allotted tax cap, which we never have here, which is great, and maintain jobs. And, you know, just to put things in perspective, we're on an average the last 4 years of 1.78% increase. So, you know, I know it's not a 2% tax cap, but the way people see it, I think, is that, and we're averaging 1.78%.
Oh, Caroline's coming. You have a audience member.
Okay, good. We're looking to add a K-12 science chairperson because of the new mandate by New York State for next year, which will help us facilitate that. And the K-5 ELA and math really working out great. You know, in terms of the money we spend for this, compared to what we get out of it, it's crazy. So it's well worth. And then add some courses, Math 6 accelerated and corporate and management accounting. This is kind of your overall budget. And I think you want to point to a few things. Obviously, we talk about professional obligations, support staff obligations, salaries. And, you know, if you look at these top 6 lines, those are the consistent increases that we see all the time. Due to the, you know, the debt service that kind of washed itself out, if you take that out, this is, you know, routinely we're getting as increases. I want to pay attention to that over the course of time, because as we look down here, if we go up 2.57%, that's $203,000. If we get a little bump in state aid of $200,000, that's only $400,000. Add this up here. That's much more than $400,000. So just as, dynamics as we go further down the line, what that looks like. Health insurance, we stayed at 6.5%, so we've been under 7% for the last 4 years, which is fantastic. Talking to other districts, it's double digits, it seems like every year for a lot of people, so we're doing the right things there for the most part. Again, they started at 18%, they worked their way down, and finally got, ENV came back and said, we got you at 8.5. So, come on, we gotta get lower than that. So we went into a meeting with them again, and we were able to chop it down a little bit further. The deductible plan is a little bit cheaper because that's what's yielding back the best results, premiums, so they give a little bit cheaper to that as opposed to the other. And you can kind of see the final outcome. We are using reserves and fund balance. If you see down the bottom here, this is really the outcome here, about, $800,000 that we're using to fill that gap, whether that falls out or not by the end of the year. Historically, we fall off from $500 to $1 million of fund balance anyway, so maybe we don't have to touch that, but that's something to look at as the future holds, right? If you start digging into your reserves and digging into your fund balance, you're going the wrong direction. Leah's up for the revenues.
So 62% of the revenue comes from state aid and building aid. And this includes our foundation aid, transportation aid, lottery aid, textbook aid, and aid for hardware and software. And Dr. Nick has talked about this before too, but this is the first year in many years that we have not gotten a foundation aid increase. Property taxes are 30% of our budget. And this is our 8.1 million tax levy, and that's 2.57% increase. We also have 3% of our revenue coming from other revenue sources. This is our BOCES refunds, interest earnings, fees for building usage, tuition, and charges to other schools. And then that little high piece with the blue is our use of fund balance and our ERS reserve. This is to balance our budget out as shown in the previous slide.
As Leah said with the revenue piece, we had a meeting the other day with some state ed, and they were talking about, again, the foundation aid formula, how that's kind of up, and they're looking at a new organization, a hired organization by the governor to look at what foundation aid would look like in the future. All indications are pointing to the small rural school districts are in trouble, anyway, we could talk about that when the merger study hits. We talked about earlier, merger study revenue or increases came in from 33 million up to 81 million that we would get in aid because they're pushing, for you to do that type of stuff. So anyway, something just to look at. Expenditures.
Instruction, as you can see, is over 17 million, and that is about 67% of our budget. This is our classroom instruction, special ed, school libraries, guidance offices, health offices, and athletics. Our general support is the $4 million, and that's about 17% of our budget. That includes expenses for operations and maintenance, the district office, business office, legal expenses, auditing fees, and insurance. Transportation is 8%, and this is our expenses for bus drivers, bus garage, and any other contractual items that are related to transporting students. Our debt service is 7%. This is down from 10% last year. Last year this year we made the final payment for our high school. So that bond is off of our debt service schedule. So this number includes payments for our current capital projects, our energy performance contract, and our new capital projects. And this is offset by building aid. We also have a little bit for transfers to capital outlay projects.
So really when you add, you always tell people about budgets, when you add this up, you add this and transportation, those are three things you really have to do. Right? So there's not much, give unless you start letting go of people, right? And when you let go of people, that affects programs. So those are, three things you really don't have too much control over if you want to build it.
To interrupt, hypothetically, which you hate answering like that. If we merge, in theory, with the state limiting how much we're getting and the costs going up in those areas, the column. So we should not have a problem for several years, many years, if we do merge, in your opinion?
Here's the 10-22. You get $81 million, which looks great. It goes 40% of your aid for the first 5 years, then 30%, then 20%, then 10%. So what ends up happening is that's gone.
Right.
So after 15 years, if you build a budget around what you're getting every year, that's gonna slowly go down.
Correct.
So it's kind of, I hate to say the word fool's money, but it kind of is. Now, in some cases, you can do some things with building projects, right? 95% aid, build the facilities that you need. Expense-based aids. Take a look at BOCES. Now, all of a sudden, CTE is huge right now. Want to send more kids to CTE. Remember, we're getting 80% of that back. So you're actually building revenue for the future, right?
Mhm.
Still losing 20%, but you're getting 80% of it back. So you build things in like that. It's a catch-22.
It seems like some districts are reading the paper as they get toward the back end of it, they're having trouble. Either they invested too much or they, I don't know, they built a staff they couldn't sustain. It seems like all different things, but
And that's what ends up happening, right? So if you get $5 million extra the first year, you build a budget around $5 million. In 12 years, you're down to $1.5 million.
so you really have to plan on the front end of it.
And here's the problem too. New York State says don't go over 4% of your fund balance and don't have too many reserves. So what do you do?
Okay, so on the flip side, just one more question. So say we don't merge or we don't go down that road, our cushion is very slim for us having more problems and bigger increases, and what do we got, a year or two guesstimate? I mean, how close are we?
It all depends on what happens with the aid formula.
Right,
And there's a lot of contributing factors.
I know.
You know, especially like 1 year, we're gonna have 3 kids move out, right? And all of a sudden our budget goes down, right? So, but that's why this isn't normally how you budget. Like, you know, your house, that type of stuff, you can go out and get an extra job and raise some more revenue.
right.
Here, as the year goes on, this is the money we get, this is all we have. So you gotta make do with that. So you've gotta put in some cushion everywhere because you just don't know what's gonna happen.
Right,
And what we're trying to do with our reserves, kind of like our equipment reserve, that type of stuff, we're trying to get all of the pop-up expenses out. So our general fund budget is our yearly, every year expenses, right? So you don't all of a sudden need 100,000 for this, 150,000 for this. Equipment reserve takes care of that. So we can really kind of see what we have, right?
Right.
And listen, we gotta pay our employees, we gotta give them benefits. And, because we wanna keep the best people around. And here's the other issue is, there's no 500 people applying for an elementary job. You know, as we're starting to slowly see, we can't even fill some positions. So the model has changed, the model has changed.
and why is this special, Jen, I know I hear this all the time. They, not blame, but they contribute the special ed budget to being disproportionately expensive.
Yep.
I said that, and not offensive.
I was offended.
So, so what is the reason?
So
That's why-
when you look at high cost placements, okay, so we have kids that are in placements that could be upwards hundreds of thousands of dollars if they are residentially placed. And we have what we call stack, where we put in for these students and then we get reimbursed after a certain amount. So when I first started in this role like 8 years ago, our reimbursement was in the 20,000 range. So anything over 20,000, we were reimbursed.
Okay,
Now it's at mid 40s, and that happened within 8 years. So we're only getting aid back anything over that 46,000 mark. So then you have BOCES that they're trying to increase in order to encourage staff. They're increasing costs there because they have to pay more for those special ed services. You have physical therapy, your speech costs are going through the roof because we're getting a lot of students that
Transportation.
yeah, and then there's transportation. We have students that are placed in homes because they're medically fragile, that then need to be transported with an extra aid, a certain bus, the whole shebang that needs to then go to their program. So all of those costs add up.
so what's a per pupil cost? I know it's a range, but like for
Yeah.
a traditional student, I don't know offhand what our
Right.
per pupil cost is, but
That's a tough one to say. For my typical BOCES students, I'm looking 60, 70,000 about there. My kids that are in residential placements, and I have 2 of those right now, is hundreds, thousand.
200,000
per student
Yep,
per year.
yep. So
Your
that's,
mandates
what
have
the-
increased and your reimbursements have leveled.
Yeah.
And the other problem with that is that the state aid for that was at 18%.
Yeah.
And now it's at 0, and they just extended that in the current budget, so the state doesn't give us a dime to help pay for those expenses.
Another problem that we have is that New York State just passed, well, they just are following legal guidelines that kids now, we used to age out at 21. So the year you turn 21, that end of that year, you're done. It is now 22 and there is no reimbursement within any of the scales right now. So we have a student that will be continuing on at age 22. So that's going to be another issue.
And it's not just New York State. I know some bordering states, they discuss the same thing and they're having the same problems.
100%. It's just the costs keep on going up and everyone wants specialized programming, specialized therapies. And we're seeing a lot of students with, autism. We have a lot of more students than I've ever seen before that are on the spectrum that require some pretty intensive services.
Okay, thank you.
With a fairly transient population around here, how
That
will
doesn't help
you
either.
predict anything? Because
And
kids can move into your.
that's our
your
problem.
district, they're out of your
And when we work with BOCES, they have to project for the year. We have to know by, June 6th or something, we need spots for. If people move in, I'm grappling for spots. We sometimes have to go, House of Good Shepherd into Albany, Schenectady area, and that's if we are able to get a spot.
Go
So,
back to saying why we have reserves and fund balance. Our state puts $40 million on reserve, and we get smacked for going on 4% in reserve. They have the ability to raise revenue, we don't.
Nick, do you know our cost per pupil? If she said 60 to 67 for a special needs student in a range, do you know what a,
About
20, yeah.
24,000.
uh,
Right, contingency budget.
Contingency budget. If our first budget is voted down, we can either do a revote in June, or we can just adopt a contingency budget. Our contingency budget is 25,200,000. This is 203,000 less than the proposed budget. And that includes a tax levy increase of 0%. If the contingency budget is adopted, there is no outside use of school facilities. There's limits on equipment purchases. There's no new bus leases, and there could be potential program cuts.
And you have two options, you offer a revote or you go to the contingency budget. Contingency budget pretty much says you can't have any increase in taxes. Bus proposition?
Bus proposition, this is one of the propositions on the ballot. We've been doing bus leases for over 12 years. This year, we are going out for 4 70-passenger buses and 1 wheelchair accessible bus. The way that the bus leases work is we have a bus reserve fund, and those payments are made out of the bus reserve fund, and then any state aid we get back on the bus leases, we put back in the bus reserve fund, so it's an in and out. But every year, they have to vote on the new leases.
And we all know what this might turn into one day, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Capital equipment reserve,
The next one is our capital equipment reserve. Proposition to spend 140,000. This reserve was set up in 2021, and it has a current balance of 273,000. And the reserve is fully funded right now. We just have to get approval to spend it. So that's what this is for.
and you can use it for lawnmowers, we can use it for trucks, we use this for computer lab. Those things that just, we might need every once in a while, but not every year in the budget. Capital building project extension. When we built this, here's the problem with capital projects. You build them 2.5 years ago. And we all know what happened 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, with COVID, then what ended up happening was an increase in cost for wages, plus equipment, plus supplies. So our estimated $5.7 million budget is now blown out of the water. Now, things like this could happen the opposite way. This happened in the early 2000s. You had building projects that were going out at $16 million and they were only costing $12 million. All of a sudden you had $4 million left over. They rolled that into reserves, made it for the next building project. But it didn't happen this way. We all know what ended up happening. Prevailing wages went skyrocketed, plus supplies and equipment. So what we're able to do, since we're 90-something% aidable, is we're able to take $170,000 of our fund balance and turn that into 1.5 million, which is kind of crazy. But it's 92%, we're getting back on our dollars. So we can take that 170, turn it into 1.5, because we get 1.3 million back by reimbursed aid. Has no impact on taxes, and due to the increase in inflation, like I said, that's what ended up happening. Equipment, supplies, wages. And this could ensure we could do the alternate projects. Right now, they had to pull out some things, so there are alternates. And some of those were the parking lot in the back that we've been looking for years. We do have some extra heating units that we want to put in. They're starting to fail, because 2.5 years ago, what ends up happening? And then the third thing is an outdoor learning space at the middle school. So this allows us to kind of build almost all those alternates back in. And again, for $170,000 of fund balance, which we're getting dinged for because we have too much fund balance, this allows us to get 92% on your dollar. I think anybody in here, if they were to get 92 cents back in their dollar, they'd take advantage of it. So that's pretty much what we're looking to do next. And some maintenance items for the pool. A next proposition is an additional 10% aid on their solar array. Board of Education approved the solar array for a project, kind of like we did with our lighting or EPC project. We're asking the community to help us get an extra 10% on the solar array. And that extra 10% will help us save $220,000 over the course of 15 years. And again, it has no impact to the taxpayers. We're just asking for the extra 10%. Where the impact will happen is we'll lose $220,000, and that'll fall out somewhere along the line as time goes on.
Why does this require the public to sign off on it?
New York State rule. Yeah, weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you really break it down,
Seems a very strange thing to put out to the voters.
doesn't it? It's almost like, why would you turn it down, right? Type of a thing.
No.
And project will be paid for by New York State Building Aid. It'll be paid for by loan and energy savings. And again, nothing comes out of our pocket at all. We're talking about this solar array that we put in front of the transportation bridge. And remember, we get all of the benefit from the solar. Not like a solar farm where it's farmed out to everyone else and we don't see the benefit. We get 100% of the energy that's being stored there, we get it.
Is Fort Plain doing any of that thing?
Not as the point. So recap of our propositions. We have our budget, which carries a 2.5% tax
And
levy
you
increase.
guys, I just have
Yeah.
a correction on that. They do have a remote field where it offsets some of their energy use.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant that they were doing a new one. I'm sorry.
No, but they do have some solar, but
Okay.
not at the schools,
Is
remotely.
that the one?
You know,
By Fusilla?
What?
Is that also Route 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Outside of Nelson?
Yeah.
That's
So
that.
they did head down the road, they're heading down that road. Okay, that's all I really want.
So just to recap for our propositions, we have a $25.4 million budget, a 2.5% tax levy increase, which again does have an increase on tax. We have a bus proposition with 5 new leased buses, no tax, no general budget impact. We have a capital equipment reserve, which is the use of existing equipment reserve for updating classrooms, and no tax or again, general budget, right, on that as well. We have our capital building project extension, which is the use of $170,000 from fund balance. And again, no tax or general budget impact. And then we have our additional 10% on aid in our solar array, which is again for the district to receive additional 10%. And again, no tax, general budget impact, though it does have future impact on cost savings. And then the last is the Board of Education student representative, which New York State makes sure every other year put it up on the ballot, which has been a huge success for us. And allows our students to get more involved and have a voice, and we want to continue that. So we'll put that on the proposition as well. Also on the ballot is election of Board of Education seat, 5-year term. We have our incumbent Keith Baker running and no one else. And our student Board of Education representatives, I expect to see a bunch of signs out there.
No,
Our student Board of Education representative, we want to get beat by Mickey Mouse.
social media.
No, the write-in campaign.
Student Board of Education representative, like we said, also on the ballot. So just a reminder, we have our budget vote on May 21st, East Hill Library, 12 to 8. 2:20 and 3 o'clock, a little bit of parking limited, and then May 13th, I'm gonna do another WebEx community budget. If anybody would like to get on WebEx, I did one for the faculty and staff last week. So another option for people to look into the budget. And
How was
that
your
is
turnout?
it
How was your turnout for that?
for the faculty staff,
Correct.
over 20, I think. And again, anybody can come in anytime and talk to me too, so.
Any questions, comments? Thank you, Nick.
Sure.
And, looks like we have a, motion to adjourn the budget hearing. Motion. Favor? Aye. Okay, we have a 4-minute break. How exciting.
What shall I do?
Don't go crazy.
I know, already gone.
Oh, better keep moving, don't think we snoring.
It's 7 o'clock, I will call the meeting to order. First question is, are there any questions or comments from the floor? Seeing none, we'll move ahead to reports. The first one will be the student representative report. Take it away, Robert.
So we conducted a survey for the students, the junior and senior classes on their community service, and 44 responded out of the 2 classes, and 21 said they had done 10 to 12 hours, 8 said they had done 4 to 8 hours, 7 had said they had done 0 to 2 hours, and 5 said they have done 2 to 4 hours, and 3 said they have done 8 to 10 hours. They noted that some of the ways they achieved these hours were tutoring, helping during a 5K run, helping out teachers clean up after events, helping on Elves Day Out, and that's just to name a few. There's a lot more that they have, named. The students said they learned how to work a service job, they gained new friends, and learned the value of community service doing these hours. The students were then asked if they had completed their government meeting. Out of the 44, 15 said they had, and 29 said they didn't. One of the questions we had received specifically from the junior class was, what is a government meeting? And then they also asked if they had to do these things to graduate. So it seems that the senior class is well informed of these, requirements to graduate, but the junior class is not. And in this survey, there were more juniors that responded than seniors, so that does kind of make sense when we look at those government meeting numbers being only 15 that had completed it. So it definitely would probably be a good thing for our district to kind of promote the community service, especially with our notated degree that we have with the community service hours to the juniors, because it seems like they're uninformed. They're too busy doing their own thing, and it's kind of flown under their radar. Next, we had International Club had their McDonald's night. It was the second one they've held, and it was on April 10th. The event saw a great amount of attendance, a lot of donations. It's a great event all around, and we've seen a lot of other clubs do this event, and it's always great fundraiser. And it really does seem like our community is really getting used to these McDonald's night again after they took that hiatus during COVID. Next, we have our craft fair coming up. That will be on May 11th. And right now, about 45 vendors will be there and will participate. And the fair will be located in the school gymnasium and will run from 4 a.m. to about 4 p.m. Next, we have,
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
or 10 a.m., excuse me, yes,
We'll be there.
yes.
Get a good spot.
Next, the senior sunrise. So we had the senior class decided to go out and watch the sunrise on the day. And there were about 7 of them who went out and kind of gathered to do a quick little event right before school started. They all went out in 5 and watched the sunrise together and had a little fun time. They had brought some food and gathered for a little quick event. Next, we had our Star Day on the 19th of April. The theme was Earth Day, and it was great to see a lot of the teacher participation in this event, as always. And then finally, to wrap things up, the junior class went to UAlbany to see the UAlbany Showcase on the 30th. This showcase, it celebrates the academic excellence, and it has about 2,000 students of UAlbany kind of showcase their work. It gives the kids a good look at what college life and the work of it really is. These students kind of showed their PhD writings, they did presentations, and it was all shown to the students to give them kind of a look at, if they go to college, what it's going to look like for them. The event was coordinated by Miss Countryman, with Mr. Parker and Miss Martin going as chaperones. The students said they did enjoy the campus, but they didn't enjoy the presentations. The teachers also said that the presentations were too involved for the students. They said that they even struggled to kind of understand the presentations. I was fortunate enough to actually tag along on this trip with the junior class. And I can personally say that the event, it was great. It was great to see all the, different things that UAlbany has. But UAlbany did fail to show the students the elements they kind of would have appreciated. The event wasn't really coordinated enough to push them into areas they would have appreciated. For me, I kind of deviated from the group and I went and saw a history presentation. And that was much more digestible than they had students just all around the campus with boards, poster boards with their stuff. And it doesn't look digestible when it's done like that. But when the student's able to present it, they're able to articulate it more, and our students would have definitely understood it better. So if UAlbany had done a better job at kind of talking about and showing the students where to go, I think the students would have appreciated it more. But they did reach out for criticism, and they're going to do it again next year, and hopefully we're able to go again next week. And that wraps it up.
Any questions, comments? I just have one. I do hope that we'll be doing something to make the junior class more cognizant of the civic engagement opportunities and requirements.
Well, they're told about the community service, which is why most of them did some community service, but they don't get told about the government until their senior year, because it's something I really want seniors to come. I feel like they get more out of it senior year. So when I talk to them about community service, it's just the community service piece. And then board meeting, get them when they're seniors.
Next year they'll get.
Next year, yeah. That's always my day one spiel with the senior class.
Thank you. Anything else? Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it. The next thing on the agenda is the superintendent update.
Our building project is going to be starting in the next month. We can get a preliminary event schedule or facility schedule on where everything's going to be starting. I'm going to be sending a letter out to our faculty, staff, and our parents about what will be kind of off limits. So, for example, one of our big items is the roadway in, plus the parking lot's going to be redone. So you're not going to be able to kind of get in the facility. We also have some air handling units going to be put in here. We have a roof going on in the middle school, some pool issues in terms of maintenance. That's going to be down. So there'll be certain areas that won't be accessible. But it looks like right now, most everything is going to be put in for this year. We were afraid it was going to roll into next summer, but it's looking much better now than it was before. So excited about that getting going as fast as we can. I'll give everybody more detail as it gets more apparent, which will be by the end of May. But I'll send something out to the parents, faculty, and staff on that. There's National Honor Society next Thursday, Junior National Honor Society and the High School National Honor Society at 6 and 7 o'clock. They go back to back. I put it in my weekly update for tomorrow, so if you take a look at it, you'll see some events coming up. I'd like to do a special congratulations to the top 10, specifically our valedictorian, Madeline Sinkevich, and our salutatorian, Sam Sunderland, working extremely hard, all through school, and, brought them down to my office the other day, and they just were very proud and all smiles, and so right they should be. So our spring sports season is coming to an end already. It's unbelievable how fast that went. Our baseball team is, I think, tied for first place still. Our track and field will be going into the sectionals and looking for personal best in place in there as well. So we'll see the seeding for our baseball as it comes through. Our state testing is kind of in its full swing and kind of on its downslope. Our APs have kicked up already, and that'll be over the next couple of weeks. And then once we get done with that, we'll right into Regents at the beginning of June and then Regents at the end. We're down to just about 28 class days or 29 class days left. And that's about 20 class days left for our high school kids. So it's winding down pretty quick. It's pretty much our update at this point.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Okay, then we'll move ahead to approvals. And I'd like to ask the permission of the board to move the number L up first, and then we'll have a consent agenda, proposed consent agenda for the rest in respect to the fact that Dr. Switzer is here and we can deal with that, and then we can bid you adieu.
Thank you.
That is agreeable.
You need a motion to pull apart.
Pardon?
Motion to pull.
Okay, so a motion to pull L apart from the consent agenda. Favor? Okay, so we'll just go with that and then we'll do the consent agenda. Okay, so, want to take that?
Yes, our merger study is pretty much an agreement that our council drew up. that details all the parts of the merger study, which we've spoke about plenty of times. We understand what's next for us. This is just a formal agreement to move forward with just the study, as we always talk about. Just the study at this point, and then we'll see from there. We have a great firm with current superintendents and past superintendents who are in rural settings, suburban settings, but have been through mergers. So I think we're really lucky, the firm that we end up getting. I think we're going to be well taken care of in terms of what they know about mergers and being in the educational field. All of them really going to kind of help us through that. So this is kind of details every piece of it for us to agree. There's a $60,000 price tag, as we talked about. I applied for a grant, which can't say 100%, but Dr. Ziskin and myself believe that we'll at least qualify for 50% of it.
You heard the comment from the coordinator of
Yes.
state aid said, well, you're gonna get that. So
Yes.
I think I'd be pretty optimistic about it.
So we should be okay there. And then at the same token, I reached out to our local assemblyman in terms of trying to get any other funds possible as well for us. So this is just a formal agreement overall with some of the stuff that we talked about. Once we agree to this, Dr. Ziskin will go back to the firm and we'll put together the next steps, which is pretty much, I'll send you guys tomorrow a proposed timeline of what it looks like. Make sense?
Okay, and a couple of things I'd just like to report. We had a meeting last week with someone from the State Education Department to begin to talk about the merger and get some more information about it. And, it seemed like, his feeling was that the timeline that we had talked about is something that would make sense and would probably be approved and go forward like that, assuming, that we agree after the merger study and so forth, and our residents agree. The other thing which I
And just a piggyback on that, Dave, Dr. Ziskin is going to put in a formal letter into state ed explaining the reason why we'd like to do that.
And then the other thing that I was speaking with Dr. Ziskin yesterday, actually, and one of my concerns was I really don't know very much about the Fort Plains School District, and I don't think they know a whole lot about us either. And one of the things that he emphasized was that one of the results of a merger study is that we should get a very clear picture of both of our school districts in that, and they'll make some recommendations about what a joint school district would look like. So I think that's something that I was really happy to hear, and I think it'll be helpful for us in making our, determination thereafter. So are there any questions or comments that anyone wants to make?
Just on the short end of the timeline, it'll go from June to January, and then we'll decide, what we'll do after that.
Personnel wise, do we anticipate that all of the members of this firm participate in the process, or are we assigned a specific?
No, they'll all take a
person?
piece of it somehow. Yeah. What's that?
They have a team that they would designate for this process.
Any other questions, comments? I would entertain a motion to approve the merger study.
Motion to approve the merger study.
Second. All in favor?
All right.
Thank you. And have a good evening. Thank you for coming.
Earliest night this week, thank you.
Have a good night.
So, always a pleasure coming to Canajoharie.
Okay, so
Yes.
now I would,
Actually, he said, I love her.
Oh,
Showing love.
I was.
okay,
Oh, hold on, maybe he was kidding. Maybe it was just a. Very well could have been.
now with the removal of L, I would entertain a motion to the consent agenda on the approvals. Second.
Second.
However you like. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, so we'll start with the minutes from the specially called April 24th meeting to approve the BOCES budget. And the candidates for board, anything there? Anything on the minutes? Okay, moving ahead to bills, anything there? As usual, we have some things on. Two things, one is the 65,258, 5.6 thousand to Kayla Lachute.
That's our physical therapist.
Oh, okay.
She's a private contractor. Yep.
Okay, and then the other one I questioned was 4327, there's a payment to someone named Carol Ann Hammonds for $10.80.
Big spend. Big one.
I wonder why our special education budget
It is up that high, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to budget transfers. There.
He's a jokester now.
I just have one question there also. I never heard the BOCES Youth Recreation Program. Does anyone? know
That's
anything
the
about that?
program through Berkshire, right? Jen is. can you
Oh,
explain?
yes, it probably is. So that's our turnabout and home run. They're changing names for Berkshire Farms to Together for Youth.
Okay, so that.
But yeah, that would be
that's
why.
what That is.
Yes.
Yeah, it's.
That sounds like a pretty.
I made that known to the people there when I met with them today. So yeah, definitely. But
Okay, so I'm not ignorant that I didn't recognize that.
yeah, brand new name.
Yeah, it's a new code this year, so I need to move money into that code because now that program is through BOCES.
Okay, but that is the home run program. Okay, thank you.
That program, family counseling, all through BOCES now. So
Aidable.
I never thought of that as a recreation program.
They're throwing around names. I don't know.
Okay.
You have a slide.
Swings.
Okay, anything else on budget transfers? Then we have the treasurer's report. I know I try to resist this,
Oh,
but I have to say that the general fund interest was mind-boggling. There is $1,017,677, and the interest that we received on that the last month was $16.04, which is 1/10,000% interest. That's pretty cool, isn't it? We could get rich that way.
But
It's
on the,
just-
on the other account, we got 15,000.
No, I know, but this was the one that.
Yeah, that one doesn't get.
I appreciate that, thank you. But this one, all right, well, anyhow, it's just mind-boggling that they can get away with that, but, oh well. Any other questions on the treasurer report? And I try to reduce my, okay. Anderson Center, anything new there?
same
Any questions? We have Learn Well, same thing.
hospital-based tutoring. So anyone who's hospitalized, that's the tutoring service that we use.
Anything there? Okay, then student transportation contracts.
Same as always. Yeah.
Okay, so that's parents driving. Okay, anything? No. Then the summer contract for speech therapist.
That's actually just for CPSE, so we can continue to provide evaluations and services.
And then we have the occupational therapist.
Same thing, but for OT.
Jen, question, do the services for students with special needs, is that year-round as opposed to our students?
So you have to qualify for extended school year services. So if you have evidence of regression, usually students with like significant disabilities, significant autism, intellectual impairment, and so on, those are they could qualify for summer programs. We were fortunate this year that we were able to get our students into BOCES with the help of one of our teachers going and working for BOCES for the summer. So we were able to get our bulk of our kids into summer programming through them.
Okay.
This is for CPSE though, these positions. So these are often done, so preschool kids, so they're doing them within the home. But again, it's only if they qualify and there's evidence of regression do they provide summer services.
Okay, any other questions on that? And then there's a bid for repairing some of the windows in the middle school.
This bid just came in today, and if they had to wait until the 23rd of May, would have put it back 2.5 more weeks. This is stuff that was part of the ARPA grants that we got from the federal government, and this is kind of the last part of it, and I give Leah a lot of credit. We were able to spend every dime of that federal money, which I think the trips.
Can't wait till it's over.
This allows us
Told
to
them we're having a party, whatever.
this allows us to get all the windows put in down the 6 or 8 windows and the gathering spaces.
Anything there? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
If you, Moving on to personnel, again, I would entertain a motion for consent agenda.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you. Clerk of elections, any question? Who is this person, Andrea or something?
That's wrong.
Okay, chief inspector. Heather Memrick. Then we have 3 inspectors that are appointed. Or up for appointment, Sharon German, Getman, I'm sorry, Ellen Hazard and Shayna Scandera. Anything there? Okay. Appoint summer drama volunteers. Margot Valley, Lisa Welch, Lauren Goldman, and Kagan Buck. By the way, I just wanted to share something that I just learned today. I had some correspondence with Lauren Goldman, and she is planning over the next few years to write a musical.
Wow.
Which have students to do the instrumentalization for, so that should be quite the thing. I'll open them around to see it, just saying.
Oh, dark.
Sorry, that's a class. Okay, point a temporary E&L teacher.
These next are yearly temporary appointments. They're pretty much the same every year. With ENL services, you might next year have no students. You might not have the position. So that's why it's temporary.
Okay, and then a temporary school counselor, and again,
This is funded by a grant right now, so it's a temporary position on our system.
they're very well reviewed by, Mr. Patino.
Yes.
Then a temporary AIS teacher in the high school.
Same thing here. This is a person that's finishing up a degree or applied movement to this type of education.
She's fantastic.
Then we appoint a monitor.
Somebody who resigned and this appoints to fill that position.
And then we have the winter coaching appointments. And as you see in the attachment, we still have a few vacancies that need to be filled for wrestling and an assistant for swimming. So this is something that we'll have to work on, and hopefully we can find some candidates. Any questions on those? Okay, and finally, amend the appointment of a temporary energy manager, who is Fran Ambrosio. This would extend this appointment for another year and a half.
So two things happened. We had a grant called the Class Prize Grant. We appointed him with that Class Prize Grant, but then NYSERDA came back and upped the limit of what we can get for funds. So we backed out the Class Prize Grant, which we can use anytime. Or the NYSERDA grant gets eaten up, we have to use a certain amount of funds. So we're able to take $125,000 from NYSERDA, and I don't know where everyone's getting all this money, but we'll take it. And that extends Fran's position out until September 30th, 2025. And then at that point, we'll take the class prize and extend it through August of 2026. So we're able to get this fully, paid for through grants in the last 2.5, 3 years. So.
And he's been doing a really amazing job. And
Great job.
Tremendous amount of.
I just got honored through the White House, and he's going to go out to Denver and accept an award, and so some good things.
Okay, so if there's no further questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the personnel consent agenda.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Old business, there is none. New business, draft meeting dates.
Just take a look at those dates. There's a couple things I just want to mention. Next year, we're probably going to be looking at doing some joint meetings, or maybe possibly a couple extra meetings before planning, depending on what the situation occurs with the study and how far we go with it. I would make the recommendation of cutting the 2 meetings to 1 because of that. And we can still do our presentation and still do all those things. We'll just have the longer meeting every once in a while as opposed to coming twice. Because I think we're also gonna have some other meetings built in. That's my recommendation. Take a look at it. We can talk about it next month. So.
Okay. All right, then, moving on to, NISBA resolutions. In March, NISBA sent out to all board members, I don't know if you remember receiving it or not, some resolutions for people to vote on. It was some resolutions on different positions that NISBA wanted to get feedback on, so that it can give them some guidance. They're not binding resolutions because that can only happen at the annual meeting, which is in October. And the reason that I just wanted to mention that is that if anyone has any, I think it'd be worthwhile looking at them if we want to make any recommendations to NISBA for the October meeting, if we want to introduce any other resolutions that people have on their mind that we would like to discuss. We have until July 19th. No, that's something else. Where is it here? To July 12th, and to submit resolutions. So if you like, what I could do, if it got lost, you can, I could send you a link to the resolutions PDF, that has all of them. If you want to look through it, it shows all the vote results. And also, and if anyone comes up with anything, we can put it on the agenda for June to talk about it and see if we want to introduce any resolution, or if we want to make any points about any of the resolutions that were already introduced. So I just wanted to, put that out there. And one thing which before I get to the budget, one other thing is that this was having a leadership in education event. It's an annual event that they have in Albany. It'll be on July 19th and 20th at the Desmond Hotel. The pay costs us $105 for anyone who wants to attend. I've been to a couple of them and I really found them very informative. And also what I loved about it is you have 2 full days to kind of, meet other school board members from other districts. And it's I found it to be a very, useful and informative thing. So I would like to recommend that people consider that. You can find, we can see if, I'm thinking about going, and if anyone else wants to go, we can certainly work out, some joint transportation over there. So I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, then finally, new business, I just wanted to kind of summarize some of what's in the currently approved education budget that was just approved by the state, just to kind of summarize some of the things that were passed. The final budget was up 3.8% over last year's budget. And that was $1.3 billion for a total of $36 billion for education. It was $475 million more than HOCO, the governor, had initially recommended. It also restored the safe harmless provision, which the governor had wanted to get away from, so that no school district should be less than they did last year, except for the foundation aid and school aid.
She made a point that that's only 1 year.
I was gonna ask, so just for 1 year.
The foundation aid formula, as Nick said earlier, it received $2 million to have a study done by the SUNY Rockefeller Institute of Government, and they will be coming out with the non-binding recommendations by December 1st of this year.
So I'll let you know, New York State Education Department last year asked for $1 million to do a study and have, constituents from superintendents, students, and they turned it down. Now they're spending $2 million to an agency that they're hiring.
And then
Just the crafting of the political landscape.
in any case, it'll be recommendations, not binding. And then, we'll see what they come up with, and certainly we'll use some of NISBA's guidance in terms of interpreting it and seeing whether or not it's something we want to lobby for or against. The funding for school-based health centers is included in the budget. And that's something that we've been starting to talk about. And
You know how much is in there for that?
I don't have the figure in front of me.
It's $20 million.
How much? 20 million?
divided by 735 districts, again, start doing the math on this thing.
No, I think it came out to something under $100,000, so that's not a whole lot of money to set up a health center. But the concept is good.
Yes.
The other thing is, there was a motion for a waiver of the earnings cap of $35,000 for retirees to return to work. And that was extended for another year, so that if school districts need to hire a retiree, they're not going to be losing their retirement benefits if they exceed $35,000 in pay.
There was 1,300 retirees hired in school district.
So is there a limit?
35,000. Now there isn't this year, they let it go.
So no limit for the.
Zero emission transition, that has to do with the electric buses. NYSERDA is developing a zero emission school bus resource center. But there's not a whole lot of money attached to that at this point, and, it's a work in progress. I mean, it's a very laudable goal, but the track to get there is not at all, laid out in any kind of way that is achievable at this point. So it's going to be an ongoing issue that we'll have to address.
We're going through the study right now, just to kind of let you know, I think the company's very good. But people who do the paying do the same, as my father always kind of told me. Well, some of the information on that study is, this is the charger that you need to get through. That's what the recommendation is. Now, the charger that you need and the charger that you're supposed to have are two different things. What I mean by that is, we don't deal in maybes in school districts, we deal in musts. Like every morning, we have to transport kids. We can't deal in, CDTA doesn't have a bus that runs, they cancel a run, and people have to find a way. We can't send 3 buses and say, oh, we canceled the run. We have to deal in musts. And if they're not gonna recommend the high-end chargers to give to every bus, because here's what's going to happen. You're gonna bring kids in 8 o'clock, and a snowstorm's gonna hit, and you're gonna have to send them home at 11. Or a water main break's gonna happen at 11 o'clock. Or the heat's gonna go off at 11 o'clock. And if you don't have a high-end charger that charges your buses within 3 hours, you're gonna be stuck taking 5 runs to send people home. So logistically here, what they're recommending, even though we had the conversation to say, no, we need those chargers, they were told by NYSERDA to only put what the bare minimum was. So a little frustrating when you hear that type of stuff. So just to kind of give you a heads up of where that's heading. So we'll get a full report. And, Fran's seeing that through now. He was able to get the grant for $50,000 to do it. And we'll get the report probably the end of the summer.
Okay, so this will be a continuing saga that we will be engaged with, and certainly kept up to date on that. $250 million foundation aid set aside was indicated in the budget agreement for community schools. NYSERDA's position on this is that there should be no restrictions on school aid, that it should be up to local school districts to make decisions about how they could best spend the money that is allocated to them. And, they really, this argument, and I agree with it largely, is that if the state wants to specify things, they should also fund those additional things. And not as tell school districts, this is the way you have to spend the existing money that you're trying to survive on. So it's an ongoing disagreement. Another thing is that there's for reading instruction, SED is going to provide best practices for K through 3 reading instruction by January of this coming year. And schools are going to be expected to follow those best practices. And again, Nisbet's position on that is that school districts should be able to decide what works best for their students in their district and with their staff. But this is what we're, this.
My understanding is gonna be pretty broad. They've already rolled out the science of reading stuff and it's
We're ahead of it.
yeah, and it's a pretty broad thing that they're putting out right now, and we're already utilizing those principles. So I'm personally, I feel like we're in a good spot.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Good to hear. One thing that was kind of disturbing is there was no change in the BOCES aidable salary cap, which has been stuck at $30,000 for 30 years or more. So that's kind of crazy, but life goes on. The school aid for feeding our students for lunches was increased to 11 million, but it did not include universal free lunch, which is what this position has been, and I personally, I certainly support that, that should be the case, but we're not there yet. The thing I mentioned earlier during the budget presentation was the elimination of the state share of CSE placements. The elimination was extended to April of 2025. So the state will not be contributing at all to the expenses we have of sending kids out to placements away from our school. And as I said, even when they did contribute, it was 18% of the expense above that $40,000 amount. So, it's kind of nuts. And then the other thing, the final thing is that they extended the agreement that school boards, when necessary, could have virtual meetings until July 2026. Illness, whatever might be a cause for that. So that possibility will still exist. Any questions, comments? Okay, well.
Nice job, Mark.
Again, in addition to sending you a link for the resolutions, I'll send you a link for the municipal budget analysis. So if you want to just dive through it more closely, but I just thought it'd be good to go over all of it briefly. Just so we have a kind of picture of where we're at in terms of the budget. Okay, well, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Bye, guys.
I'll go home?
That's
Okay.
Sounds good.